Hey everyone, Happy New Year! How is everyone doing? Just want to get off with the fact that I did have some audio issues in the beginning of this video, but as soon as we come to the next station, all of that will be sorted. Hey there, Agent Katie, I am actually doing good. Happy New Year, Sarbite! Hey there, Frank! Doing good, Eric! Hey there, Naomi and Steven! How are y'all doing? Hello, Alex and Eric719. Happy New Year, BB8. Hello, Diabendo. So, as you might see that the image in this video is a bit more crisp than usual, and the reason for that is that I'm now actually using a massive cinema lens called a Canon CN-E 24mm, and it is yeah, it is some piece of glass. Yeah, the image is kind of mind-blowing. If you are wondering anything about the line speed, you will find that in the bottom left corner. There I'll put in the line speed as well. And we're going through the new tunnel no less than 3 times, and that is something actually we do when we're based at Voss. So day can be that we're going from Voss to Bergen, then go through the tunnel up to 8 times before we return to Voss. Happy New Year, Richard! And thank you so much for the soup chat, Frank. Mr. UK Sergeant, luckily I got it. It's a second-hand lens. They're not really common on the market, so I was really lucky to get my hand on one, but it was severely expensive. Actually, it was 26K. And I also think that this video right here is in fact the first video I've released since we became this video is actually the first one I recorded after we became our own like franchise. As you guys know, on December 13th, the Bergen line was taken out of governmental control and into a franchise. And luckily, the train company I used to work for, we won the bid, so we are going to be operating this line for another 10 or 11 years. So I didn't have to change my employer, which I'm really glad for. happy about, I mean. Yeah, so this, you will probably hear that the announcement in the train is somewhat different because we changed the automatic announcement to reflect the dialect in this specific part of the country. So she will sound quite different compared to the other trips. And as we are now at Bergen, you will see the regional train towards Oslo coming out of the tunnel. And the lightning arc you see on the roof between the pantograph and the catenary, that is a result of hoarfrost on the wire. And it's like if you are welding, you're basically generating an arc. And that arc is, yeah, it does some small damages to the catenary and the graphite on top of the pantograph. It's not ideal, but it's not dangerous. Monsieur Carrier Sergeant, sir? Yes, sir, that's correct. Happy New Year, Patricia. Ikke sant, IMH? Det er ganske utrolig hva dette glasset her får til. Frank, yes, it has been cold for some, basically since New Year's Eve. The temperature started to drop and it's been really cold. But the hoarfrost on the catenary, it actually happens if you are close to a body of water. That's typically when it will happen. Yep, because of the moist in the air, and it will just freeze on the catenary. Thank you so much for the soup chat, White Tiger. Hey there, Captain Goober. Thank you for watching, Flydevik. Silver 82, why trains are so cool? It's basically because trains really are cool, and there is no reason for them to be cool, but they just are really cool. I saw a question here about when the sun was setting here in Norway at the moment. Well, here where I live and where I work at Voss, the sun actually goes down approximately around, see, drum roll, 10 minutes to 4. So we have now since December 21st gained a whopping 20 minutes of our day. So things are moving towards summer again and endless summer nights. So yeah, really looking forward to gaining some heat again. Thank you so much for becoming a member, Kason Smith. Welcome. Thank you so much for the super chat, Charles, and I really hope you will get an awesome year as well. Congratulations, Naomi. Woohoo, welcome and thank you. Alex, on the Bergen line in total, there are approximately 200 tunnels in total, and that is from Oslo to Bergen. PMC, if you are taking the train to Bergen, you have to understand that there are actually no trains that leaves from Bergen going to Trondheim. And the network in Norway is kind of like a star, so it branches out from Oslo in all directions. So if you are going to Trondheim by train and you are in Bergen, you first have to travel to Oslo and from Oslo to Trondheim. Thank you so much for the super chat, Amiable. The numbers you see on the square signs, those are mile markers or distance markers, and they indicate the amount of kilometers you are away from the 0 point. And in this case, the 0 point is Oslo. Arje, well, even though we are that I'm actually using new glass on the camera right now, what we perceive with our eyes is still quite different from what you actually can see on camera. But the image this camera produced with this lens is almost exactly how we see it. So the distance to the signal and how visible they are, it's actually almost spot on. It's very little difference. Beach girl, we can drive up to 3 times, or yeah, around. We can do 3 turns. That is what we are able to do in a day. Mr. UK Sergeant, did I honk twice? Thank you so much for the super chat, Dennis. And Jan Holder. Ooh, Elaton. What I think about the new EuroDual locomotive for green cargo, I think they're actually excellent. They really needed those locos, and you are actually going to see one of them in this video. So yeah, I think they're awesome. Thank you, Talon. Chris F, yes I do. I drive beyond Voss as well, so sometimes we go to All from Bergen, and sometimes we help out the base at All, and we go all the way to Oslo. So yeah, we work the whole line. Caleb, I actually like the new tunnel. I saw some pictures of the tunnel before they did the concrete in it, and the rock inside was so beautiful. So it's kind of sad that they had to use concrete to cover everything up, but due to make it more safe and be able to lead the water away, I totally understand why they had to insulate the whole tunnel. But yeah, the new tunnel is really cool and feels really different to ride through the tunnel with a train compared to other tunnels, since they are using a solid track there. But yeah, it's really cool. I like it. Michael Austin, if you look down in the left corner, you see the speed limit, and we are always almost running at speed limit, maybe sometimes like 5 or 10 under, but the speed limits give you a really good pinpoint to what speed we are actually traveling at. And the highest speed we have in tunnels that are built for it is 160 kilometers per hour, which equals almost 100 miles per hour. Hey there, Raymond Taylor. Thank you so much for the super chat, Troy boy. Per Erlend, no, actually, it really depends on what kind of conditions we are running in during the winter. If it's like dry and you have like prim conditions, it's basically just the same as running during the summer. It's just colder. But if we have a lot of snow, like vortexes around the train from snow that is whirled up by the vortex, that actually affects the braking power, or at least it affects the brake in the way that the snow will kind of fuse in between the brake pads, and it makes things kind of reacting slower because you first have to melt the ice and snow, then evaporate the water before the pads takes into the brake disc. And that is something we do take into consideration when we are running trains during the winter. So we start earlier and braking earlier, and we start braking a lot harder before we need to use the brakes. And of course we do this regularly to maintain maximum brake effects. And of course, on modern trains like the Flirt, we also have some technical equipment or systems that will help us maintaining, or not maintaining, but cleaning the brake pads and brake discs by just an automated system that will apply brakes axle per axle throughout in an interval, and it works really good. Naomi, you need to start using that cup. It's just awesome. If the front window can freeze, no, we have heaters in the glass, so no, yes, the answer would be yes and no. It depends on how much snow it is. Of course, everything can be covered up at some point if there is a lot of snow, but to be honest, I've not had any problems with the Flirt yet, with the windows being covered with snow and ice in a way that you can't get rid of it afterwards. The Nilsson Santos, yes, this is a really cool job. Ashley Robinson, the front doors and the system on the Flirt is really ingenious, because we can go in and we can predetermine which doors are to be open at certain platforms. So if we have platforms that are shorter than the train itself, we can just tell the system that You are just going to be opening the doors in the first 2 carriages, and the rest shall be locked. Or you can tell it to just open the doors in the last carriage and have everything else shut. All the platforms and which doors to open is predetermined, so we just have to confirm the selection. So when we stop at the 110-meter mark, that should be the perfect spot for the doors that are automatically selected. And inside the train, in the carriages that will have doors that will be locked, the public information system in the roof will tell you to or guide you to the right doors that you can actually exit the train. So yeah, it's a really good system. It works, and yeah, it's just awesome. Makes life a lot more easy for the people who works on a train. Von Heels? No, we can go line speed if we want to, but of course we assess all conditions, and it is really up to us to determine if this is what you want to do, to go maximum speed even though this track is like heavily covered in snow. But yeah, we know that when you are running out on the mountain and you have a lot of drifts and stuff like that, you definitely reduce the speed. That is obvious. You do not want to hit a drift at 160 kilometers per hour, because that could do some extensive damage to the train if you have the right consistency in the snow, if it's like really hard and compact. So it's a lot of data and variables you have to take into considerations when you choosing to operate at whatever speed. So yeah, that's basically a part of our job, is to assess every situation we go into and to determine if should I go this fast or this fast, what would be safer. Frank, like mentioned, on short platforms, we have meter markings on all platforms. So if you have a 110-meter long train, you stop at the 110-meter mark, and then the right doors that are open will be at the platform. So, and we have a display that tells us which doors that will be locked and everything, and we have to confirm the selection, the automatic selection. So for short platforms between Voss and Myrdal, it's typically the 2 or 3 first doors in the train that will be open. The rest will be closed. John Sock, what do you mean about my trains staying in Norway? That is so true, Andre. Driving big trains is really cool. David Bergen, no, there are no plans for automating or making trains in Norway autonomous, and I can tell you that autonomous trains, it doesn't work. It really does not work unless it is in a closed system where every train is of the same type or length, or the same type in general. But when you are running on a railway network like this one, where you have several companies operating and you have a huge variety of rolling stock, you will never ever be able to make the trains autonomous. And autonomous trains are not able to do or take actions based on the data or variables that we are able to see when we, for example, are running over the mountain pass. For autonomous trains, it would be just reading data of the sensor it has in front of it, whilst we humans, we're actually able to turn our heads, and we can not just see like 200 meters in front of the train or 300 meters in front of a train. We can just move our head and we can see like kilometers away how the conditions on the track is. If we are, for example, going around a lake, you can just turn your head when you're at one side and you can see how the track is on the other side. And for autonomous systems, that has proven to be a complete failure in so many ways. Thank you so much for becoming a member, BB8. Welcome. Ojit Meta, that really depends on what kind of train we're running. If we are running this type of train right here, we can have approximately almost like 500 people on board. So like 450 people. It is actually possible to stuff that many people on board the train, according to the data. ATSI's autonomous trains would render me unemployed. Yeah, absolutely. They would not need a driver to operate the train if it was autonomous, but would you set your foot on a train with someone who's not able to operate it if the system breaks down? If you are like between Hallingscheid and Finse station in really bad weather conditions on the mountain? I don't think so. Would you, for example, set your foot in an airplane without a pilot? Guess that's just the question. Would you put your hands in, or fate into the hands of a completely autonomous entity who does not do the same decisions as a human being? I guess it all comes down to that. Colin Campbell, there's no one here that really feels that about you. Love yourself. Beach girl, I am not going to disclose anything that reveals how my shift plan is. Lucius, the maximum speed on all the Norwegian flirts are 200 kilometers per hour. Gary Zimmerman, thank you so much for the super chat. Dimitri, no, it would be not, it wouldn't be effective at all, because it would be completely covered in snow. Lucius, 200 kilometers per hour is possible on the Gardermoen line between Oslo and Oslo Airport, and all the way to, soon gonna be all the way to Tangen, which is like halfway to Hamar. And it's also possible to do that on the Westfold line, and we are, I think, and yeah, the Westfold line, almost all parts on that line actually. So they have done a real good chunk of that one, and they are hopefully going to do it all the way to Hamar as well. And hopefully we are going to see that more and more around the country, that they are actually able to build higher speed networks. Thank you so much for the super chat, Rail. Chris F, yes, you can go from Bergen to Oslo without changing trains. Beach Girl, my favorite station between Voss and Bergen, it's to be Stanghelle. I think that is the most beautiful place. And as Elizabeth is mentioning here right now, of course, because of the skydiving, Voss is definitely the best place, but when I'm at work, the visually most beautiful place would be Stanghelle. It is you will not believe the amount of coffee I consume at work, and I think that amount is like unhealthy. Fun story. Well, with this one time at work, I started counting the amount of cups of coffee I was actually drinking, and I thought to myself that this cannot be healthy when I reached cup number 12. It's just feed it to me intravenously. Hey there, Victor. Thank you so much for the super chat, Chuck Bar. Julie Brady? Yes. The weather has been like really strange this year. It's been almost no snow. But we had some severe amounts of snow today, so woohoo! So between Bergen and Voss, it's been like really dismal when it comes to snow. We also have to take into consideration that we are at sea level and close to the west coast, which is a lot warmer than the inland and Oslo and that part of the country, and that is because of the Gulf Stream current. So yeah, it brings warm water up from the south, and it hugs the coast of Norway all the way up. So the weather along the coast is kind of warmer than inland, and that makes it less probable for snow here compared to other places. But when it snows here, it really snows a lot. Not sure I mentioned this, but thank you so much for the super chat again, Troy boy. Marcus Hagen, yes, that is correct. The Class 73 is the fastest train in Norway. Course with the Class 71, which is basically the same. They are allowed to go 210 kilometers per hour. I guess the CAF, the new Airport Express train, can go much faster than that, but the top speed on the Norwegian network is 210 kilometers per hour. Not sure what they're going to do in the future. Someone said that most of the lines that are built for 200 kilometers per hour are actually dimensioned for 250. But yeah, not sure. We'll see what the future brings. Jonathan, I'm not sure if you mean BM or BM. It's not called BM, but Type 79, because Type 79 does not exist yet. Type 79 will be the class that will replace all the long-haul trains in Norway. So it will replace the L18 and the carriages, and yeah, so that type is just in the plan, but if you are thinking about the calf, I think that is class 78 or something. Thank you so much for the super chat, Ian Walker. And thank you for becoming a member, Lars Aune. Welcome. Jonathan, I see. You're not the only one that has that problem. Tucker Bill Hilton of 460, are you referring to the RE 460? Kevin Poynton, that is not correct. We have lines in Norway that are dimensioned for 210 kilometers per hour, and we run at 210 kilometers per hour, but we do not use ETCS on those lines. We still use FATC on those lines, and yeah, they served us good. Idility, thank you. Von Hills, I've not been able to run other lines for years, but yeah, that is the whole thing about splitting up everything into franchises. So drivers who are working on the Bergen line, they're locked to the Bergen line and are not able to do other lines, and the other lines and members there, they are not able to work on the Bergen line. So yeah, it was just sealed in mid-December, and yeah, the whole reform is really stupid because the country that the politicians kind of used as an example of how great this system was, even though we have been warning them for years, they have started the renationalization of the whole network. So yeah, congrats politicians in Norway. Yeah, really great, good job. Yeah, I'm not gonna say that word. It's splitting up the railway in that way they have done. It's not a good idea. It is yes, most tracks are tilted in curves, and that of course makes it possible for trains to run through the curves at higher speed. Gordon Rosenberg, thank you for becoming a member. Welcome! Hello there, Slima's Kitchen. And hello to you, Ivan Matrosov. Hulkmaster 3, are you referring to Norway doing speeds like 500 kilometers per hour like they do in Japan and China? No, I never. To say it this way, the politicians in Norway, they really lack ambition when it comes to railway building. It's kind of a really sad chapter since after they built the Bergen line, because that was really a vision, Bergen building this line and the money that went into building this line. But after that, it's been they have not built like anything really new. They've just mostly improved things that are already there. And building something that high speed in Norway, in either case, would be not very useful. Because running at speeds like that, the curvature for turns would be 5,000. No, actually, as much as 6,000 meters is the radius, or yeah, the radius of those curves for those speeds. And if you build a curve that has a radius of 6 kilometers, you will basically miss every town in Norway. And the way the cities are located around Norway, it would not make any sense having that kind of speed for trains. You can say it this way. The average speed for a train between Oslo and Trondheim is today about 85 kilometers per hour. 85 kilometers per hour. And that includes stops and low speed and everything. Calculate everything, the time, the average speed for a train between Oslo and Trondheim is actually 85 kilometers per hour. On the Bergen line, I think we're as low as 75 when you take all stops into consideration. So having lines that are like 500 kilometers per hour, you never reach those speeds before you need to stop again. But if they are able to reduce or increase the average speed here, then we would have come a long way. Having a line or being able to run speeds like 200, 250, that would do big things, and we would be actually able to run from Bergen to Oslo in like 4 hours. So yeah, it would be great having higher speeds, but that would also mean a lot more tunnels. Beach Girl, I like the L18 because of the way the controls are presented in front of you, and that basically you kind of pack the controls around you. Instead of having them in front of you, they are on your sides and everything. So I think working on the L18 is a lot better. I like that a lot better than Flirt. Muhammad, I think I had an idea like back 2015, 2016, but things like start to take off before we were in 2017. That was when I understood that, hey, there is actually someone who likes this, and with the feedback and everything in comments, I thought, people like this and they want to see more, so I gave them more, and here we are today. Chile, have they started constructing that boat tunnel? I think the whole concept is completely insane. ESX4, yes, it is actually a reason for that, and it basically means that you have a signal that defines where the border or where the station starts. So when you see that blinking red, you definitely know where you are. You are in front of a station, and you can differentiate that signal from exit signals. So it's the main entry signals that blinks and stop, and as well as the block posts, they also blink. And we humans also react more on things that are blinking compared to things that are static. David, I so agree with you. That's the whole concept of riding a train compared to flying over. Flying between Oslo and Bergen takes you like 50 minutes. That's it. 10 minutes taxiing from gate, taxiing up, whoop, into the air, 40 minutes back down. And then you have to wait for luggage, go out, take the airport express bus, back into Bergen and stuff like that. And yeah, it's... And the security, I mean, it's like, oh, no. It's so much better to take the train. Thank you, Agent Katie. One house, no, the brakes does not apply automatically in when you have loss of power. I don't see any reason why that should happen. Naomi Garza, the tracks in the new tunnel will be connected here at Arna, and you will also have the possibility to pass over into the old tunnel. You'll see it in the tunnel wall. You will be pretty amazed how much better the visuals on this movie right here is compared to the last one. So yeah, I will explain as we go through the new tunnel right now. ES64, you see the same here in Norway, but then we also differentiate on if it's blinking or if it's steady. Thank you so much for the super chat, Steve. Okay, so now we're coming into the new Ulriken tunnel, and the first thing you can see is that it is a lot bigger, this part here, compared to the old one, which is just on the other side of the wall to the right. And if you see, as soon as we pass this train right here, you can see to the right, you kind of have like a doorway, huge doorway that goes into the right. That will be the point of crossover into the old tunnel. So you're actually able to go from track 3 and into the old tunnel. And right now we are running in the first operational TBM drill tunnel in Norway. The tunnel itself is 7.8 kilometers long, or 7,800 meters. And this part right here is, let's see how many meters I have it right here. 6,896 meters is the part where they use the TBM to drill. And it used 635 days to drill through the mountain, which had an average of 15 to 38 meters each day, which is quite good. The doorways you see on your right hand side that are like brightly lit, those are crossovers into the old tunnel. So in the event of an evacuation, we are actually able to evacuate people from the new tunnel into the old one, where a rescue train can pick us up. The same if something happens in the old one, you can cross over into the new one and you can be picked up. That makes things like evacuation and making things a lot more safe than compared to if you have one single double track tunnel. Other things, this tunnel is really different from everything else we have in Norway, especially when it comes to the track bed. The track is like fused to the concrete, so it's like steady. There's no ballast or sleepers like we know it. The sleepers are fused into the floor, which make everything like really solid, and the drainage in the tunnel and everything combined will make this a lot less maintenance heavy. So it will last longer and it will stay in place a lot longer than traditional track building. And the amount of concrete that went into this tunnel, it was insane. It was 17,000 cubic meter of concrete that actually went into this tunnel. And as you also see, you have the rail light on our right, and they are dimmed in the tunnel like default. They are dimmed, so it doesn't blind us who operates the trains. Because in the old ones where you have like the retrofitted lights, those are really annoying for us. If you have like a signal you want to see, it can be they do kind of make it harder for us to see the signals. So they took that into consideration when they built the rail lights in this tunnel. So they have a shield that points the light down and they dim it. But in the event of a train stopping in the tunnel, they will be put to 100%. And yeah, to the right now, left right now, you see the new EuroDual locomotive for green cargo, first of its kind in Norway. Pretty cool. And I think this one has both electric and diesel, of course, and I also think it has battery power as well. Thank you so much for super chat, Gurvinder. Naomi Garza, what do you mean? Do you mean the crossovers, the doors that we were talking about that are every 500 meters? Thank you so much for the super chat, Troy boy. Oh, we're not done yet. We're actually going through the tunnel again. And after that, we're going to see some arriving and departing trains from Arna. And then we are going through the tunnel Bergen again. NSB-tog 18. Yes. It will be more TPF2 in the near future. I just need some more time to be able to play. But yes, I promise that I will do some TPF2 again pretty soon because we still have a map we want to continue building on. Yeah, so it will definitely come. And the plans when it comes to speed, as you can see, the speed at Bergen station is like really low, 30 kilometers per hour. There's actually a story behind that. And that is kind of a sad story because someone lost their life when they were jumping down from a freight train or climbing over a freight train. It was a worker and he got hit by another train that was coming into the station, and after that they reduced the speed to 30 kilometers per hour. And in the future, when the station, Bergen station and the terminal and everything is complete, the speed will go back up to 70 kilometers per hour, but then there will be sufficient fencing and distance between tracks and stuff like that. So now you know the reason why the speed is so low here in Bergen. Walkmaster 3, yeah, you know, Norwegians, we walk fast, we're also stressed kind of people. And here you can see the map line out of the tunnel and how it goes from Bergen to Arna. The train uses approximately 8 to 9 minutes through the tunnel, or if you want to go by car, it will take you between 25 and 30 minutes, depending on which way you go. Naomi, do you mean the new camera or new lens? Jonathan, yes. This is so silly. I always do the Jedi hand wave on the door. I don't know why. It's just something I started to do like in 2012 or something, and it just stuck with me. And I don't know why. I just thought it was really funny going like, these doors are not supposed to be closed. You do not want to be closed. You are going to be open. Naomi, of course I am. Hello. Ashley Robinson? Yes, and just going between Arna and Bergen is really, it's a high traffic. There's a lot of people, so it's a departure between Voss and Arna. Excuse me, I'm sorry. I mean between Bergen and Arna every 30 minutes. So yeah, there's a lot of trains. Thank you so much for super chat, Oberman. And you can also hear it in the tunnel when we are running on the track that is really solid. You can hear the sound, since it's no ballast there. The sound is like really hitting the wall, the hard concrete and everything, and it reflects a lot more compared to when we are running on track that has ballast. Hey there, my car. Happy New Year. My holidays, they were great, even though it was kind of, yeah, didn't see family and stuff like that, but it was great. Yes, and when we come to Arna right now, we will not be going to track 3, we are going into track 2, so we are going to test the crossover, like where you saw the other train that was waiting for us. That is completely correct. That was the Stadler EuroDual. Caleb, I definitely like the new one a lot better than the old one. Julia Brady, do you feel that the new camera like took away some of the mystique between everything? My car, right now we had a real huge increase in cases due to the holidays, so the current policy at the moment is that we are not supposed to have any visitors at home for the next 2 weeks, and we have starting to roll out the vaccines, and they do think we will all have been vaccinated by the end of the summer. Steven Kessler, yes, the new camera do have a lot better light receiving capabilities. And that is basically because of the bigger sensor. Woohoo! Paul Vindal, thank you so much for the super chat.
Neste stasjon er Arna. Dette er togets endestasjon.
And if you look into the tunnel wall, you will see a portal on the left hand right now. You see kind of the track wearing off, spurring off and going straight into the wall there. That will be the crossover from the new tunnel into the old part of Arna station when that is done. And I did read that the full extent with opening of the old tunnel after it's been rehabilitated, it won't happen before 2024, 2025. So yes, that is a lot of time before we can benefit from having opened a new tunnel, rehabilitated the old one, and rebuilt Arna station and rebuilt Bergen station. And so yeah, it will be a single tube for another 3 years before we see the benefit of everything. But this is basically one of the largest transportation projects here at the West Coast since '64. Thank you so much for the super chat, Julie Brady. And now we're changing end again. Caleb, I think the EuroDual is pretty awesome. Haven't been inside of one. Would really like to be inside of one to even try to drive it. That would be awesome. But haven't been in one yet. But I like the data sheet from it and that it has actually 6 axles, which will help green cargo a lot in the conditions we have on the mountain pass. Thank you so much for the super chat, Sakura. Juriansen, that is actually a fun fact. Eric, CC? What do you mean about CC? Master 2-3, what cow thing? Per Erlend? No, I don't think they are ever going to build a tunnel between Bodø and Tromsø, because, to be honest, they lack vision. That's why. Beach girl, I'm doing good. How are you? Jonathan, the platform will not be extended anymore into the tunnel. Having that space is basically how the tunnel is built. Master 2-3, if you want the backstory of that, I suggest you go into the About section. Everything there is lined out for you. Not interested. The service here is at a really high demand. There's a lot of people using this service, and the reason for that is that the train uses approximately 8 minutes between Arna and Bergen, and if you are supposed to go by car, it will take you 25 or 30 minutes depending on which way you want to go. And the same with the bus. It will take you a lot longer going through the tunnel and around the tunnel than through the tunnel. Domnicella, no, there are no tunnels for cars through or next to this tunnel, so this is just for trains. I'm not interested. Yes, a lot of people does this trip because there's a lot of people living in Arna and they work and study in Bergen, so they use the train through the tunnel, and it is really heavily trafficked. Motorsport ADV, yes, there's a lot of money into this project right here. Lloyd, that flat spot is going to be a portal for an emergency exit. Rail, if you really push it in the tunnel, you can have 3 trains running in the same direction in the tunnel. My car, they have... How long did it actually take? They used 600 days to drill through it. To be exact, they used 635 days to drill it. But the pre-construction and everything afterwards, I think they've been working on this tunnel for the past 3 or 4 years.
Neste stasjon er Bergen. Dette er Norges endestasjon.
Holy cow, thank you so much for the super chat, John.
Our final stop.
Caleb, that is long. That is really long. I never ever thought about that way, but comparing the length of American freight trains with a full-size Star Destroyer, it is epic. That was just epic. And it kind of gives you the sense of how big and long those freight trains really are. Ingunn, ja, det har vært sykt. Sørenbirbak, if they're still working there, yeah, they're still working on the old tunnel, so it's now being upgraded, and they're going to be working on the old part of the station as well as modernizing and do improvement on the Bergen end. So they are going to be working on that until 24-25. So we're not going to be able to harness everything from this whole project before December 2024. Thank you so much for the super chat, Edward. Yeah, and now we have reached the end of this stream, so I thank you everyone for joining in today. And this was the first stream of the year, so I really hope you're gonna have a really awesome year, and I really hope 2021 is gonna be a lot better than it has been like 2020 was. And I know that just 6 days into 2021, we had this weird incident on the other side of the pond, and like, yeah, that was insane. Yeah, but I really hope that you will have a really good year, and hope to see you here again soon. So thank you and bye.